For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch. Another week, and yet another horrific mass shooting in the United States. First on August 3rd in El Paso, Texas, where 22 people were killed in a Wal-Mart, and then 13 hours later in Dayton, Ohio, which found 9 people dead and injured another 26. And when something like this happens, it's hard to choose where to start. Should it be with the country's politicians, who are incapable of passing anything close to resembling common sense gun control, thanks to the influence of the NRA and the gun lobbyists' deep pockets? Or perhaps we should look at the President of the United States, whose lengthy online screeds and campaign rallies frequently use the term invasion for what's happening on this country's southern border. Now, just to be clear, the President's entire re-election campaign hinges on stoking fear of a foreign force somehow pouring across our borders. A recent New York Times report found that 2,000 political ads that Trump bought on Facebook included the word invasion. And so sure, we could focus on the president or the NRA, but we could also set our sights on the far more prolific actor in all of this, 8chan. The infamously vile message board, famous for hosting racist, sexist, xenophobic, and violent power fantasies that has quickly become home to the alt-right and other white supremacist communities, was delisted from Google's search results after users posted child pornography, and the site has once again found itself front and center in another deadly mass shooting, serving as a sounding board in Town Square, where the El Paso shooter was able to post his racist, xenophobic manifesto just minutes before they began shooting. The manifesto warned of a, quote, Hispanic invasion of Texas. Federal officials believe the shooter wrote it himself using language similar to the language repeated by the President of the United States. And of course, this isn't the first time that 8chan has been used to host a manifesto by a mass shooter. Earlier this year, the gunman who attacked 2 New Zealand mosques and the gunman who attacked a California synagogue posted their manifestos to 8chan. The New Zealand shooter in particular used the insider language of the message board as he live streamed the shooting on Facebook. In the wake of the El Paso shooting, 8chan has come under renewed scrutiny for giving violent extremists a platform and may now be facing very, very real-world consequences for cozying up to extremists. Earlier this week, internet infrastructure firm Cloudflare cut service to 8chan. Cloudflare provides infrastructural support like content delivery service and DDoS protection to 19 million online properties. Revoking that support can effectively shut a site down, at least until it finds a new provider. In response to the El Paso shooting, which seemingly was inspired by the message board, Cloudflare released a statement confirming the move. Cloudflare CEO and co-founder Matthew Prince tweeted, quote, "We just sent notice. We are terminating service for 8chan. There comes a time when enough is enough, but this isn't the end. We need to have a broader conversation about addressing the root cause of hate online. 8chan has repeatedly proven itself to be a cesspool of hate." The full statement makes references to both the Christchurch, New Zealand, and Poway, California shootings. The perpetrators of both horrific events posted regularly on the board. The company has long maintained that it should not serve as a mediator of speech online, but Cloudflare severed ties with a white supremacist site, the Daily Stormer, 2 years back. CEO Prince continued, "Unfortunately, we have seen this situation before, and so we have a good sense of what will play out." He explained how Cloudflare previously made headlines when they kicked far-right neo-Nazi website The Daily Stormer off its network, causing a brief interruption in the site's operations. However, the site came back. Today, The Daily Stormer is still available and still disgusting. As pressure mounted in the wake of the El Paso shooting, Cloudflare at first maintained that it would not drop 8chan. But by last Sunday evening, the company had reversed course, and 8chan shared the news with its followers online. Now, 8chan split from the original message forum 4chan back in 2013. Current owner of 8chan, Jim Watkins, suggested in a YouTube video that the manifesto had been loaded by someone other than the shooter. Watkins, who read a prepared statement in front of an image of Benjamin Franklin and looks exactly as you'd expect the owner of 8chan to look, said the site had made authorities aware of the manifesto's existence as soon as it appeared. Watkins also suggested, minus any evidence, that the gunman had first posted the document to Instagram. Watkins said in the video, quote, "First of all, the El Paso shooter posted on Instagram, not 8chan. Later, someone else uploaded the manifesto. However, that manifesto was not uploaded by the Wal-Mart shooter. I don't know if he wrote it or not, but it was not uploaded by the murderer. That is clear." Instagram said Tuesday that the manifesto was not first uploaded to the Facebook-owned Instagram site as scrutiny on 8chan and Watkins continues to grow. The Twitter account of the House Committee on Homeland Security posted Tuesday a request for Watkins to appear in front of Congress. Representative Benny Thompson, a Democrat from Missouri and chairman of the committee, and Representative Mike Rogers, a Republican from Michigan, penned the joint letter and referenced the El Paso mass shooting as, quote, "at least the third act of white supremacist extremism violence linked to the site," saying, quote, "Experts have described 8chan as a platform for amplifying extremist views, leading to the radicalization of its users. Americans deserve to know what, if anything, you, as the owner and operator, are doing to address the proliferation of extremist content on 8chan. Current owner of 8chan, Jim Watkins, lives in the Philippines, and earlier this week, police in that country opened an investigation into the image board. The investigation has just begun and alleges that Watkins was, quote, negligent in his moderation practices, which created a haven for far-right mass shooters. At the time of this video, 8chan is still down. Frederick Brennan, 8chan's original founder, who's no longer affiliated with the site, told the New York Times last Sunday that the site needs to be shut down permanently. Quote, "It's not doing the world any good. It's a complete negative to everybody except the users that are there. And you know what? It's a negative to them too. They just don't realize it." And look, even if 8chan somehow never resurfaces, which, let's be honest, seems fairly unlikely, the site can easily be hosted by another provider. Take a look at Gab, the somehow even more racist version of Twitter, which went down briefly last fall after its providers GoDaddy and web host Joyan dropped hosting services after the alleged shooter in the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting made threats on the social network. So, will shutting down 8chan curb the epidemic of gun violence in this country? Probably not. That would take the work of, Congress doing literally anything other than what they've been doing, which is nothing. But even if 8chan resurfaces or users simply migrate someplace else, authorities are at least aware of how these anonymous boards can become incubators for extremism. If the El Paso, New Zealand, and Poway synagogue shootings are laid at the feet of 8chan and the site goes away for good, it's a firm step in the right direction. Deplatforming works. That's all for now. For everything else, subscribe to Complex on YouTube. For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch.